All personnel, clear the launch platform.
All personnel, clear launch platform. Disneyland is your land.
The Leaving Today podcast, the show about the news, history, and attractions of the Disneyland Resort.
Disneyland is your land.
Well, come on, Wendy. Let's go.
But where are we going?
To Neverland.
Neverland.
Hello, and hello. Welcome to the Leaving Today podcast, episode number 224. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whenever it is and however it is. We very much appreciate it. My name is Mark. I'm one of the co-hosts here of the LTP. Sitting to the right of me today is, as usual, the Trail Master of Puppets himself, Udi.
Good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fairly decent.
That's good. Hey,
So much.
keep yourself calm there.
Yeah.
All right.
Sitting to the left of me via FaceTime is Becky. What's up, Becky?
Good morning. Hello.
Hello, and good morning to you. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing really good. It's a Sunday morning, or is it a Sunday evening? No one's going to know.
No. Even though you guys
It's
blew it
mysterious.
already. You guys blew it already, but it's fine.
Yeah. Had a good evening last night.
Yeah.
Hanging out with some, it turned into the LTP, sort of.
Yeah, wound up bringing a few of my work people over, and then I had some of the LTP people come over.
Yeah.
My brother hung out. It was pretty cool. Shout out to Maddie, by the way. Actually, gave you a shout out a while back, and I'd only really, my brother obviously had told me about you, so I gave you a shout out before. But I actually got to meet you.
Yes.
As long as Mark did as well.
Yep.
Last night it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. And what we said, come on the show.
Anytime you want to come on the show, and I know you're listening to this, so anytime you want to come on the show, reach out. We're here.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was a fun night. No, Becky, by the way, I'm not hungover. Thank you for that. That was a little
Yes,
jab.
you
She gave me a
look
jab.
glowing.
Yeah. Huh?
For
Thank you.
all the
Yeah.
listeners to know,
Yeah, there you go.
glowing.
Yes.
It's all the caffeine, and now I'm drinking a lot of water. But no, but it was a fun time as usual. We went to the beer garden, hung out with Jess. Also, can't forget her. And we sat down and just had beers and talked about this, that, and the other thing. Had some German food, and it was a good time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Wendy was there.
Well, of course, Wendy.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Wendy in forever. It was good seeing you again too, Wendy, because I know she didn't listen to this. Hi, Wendy.
I'm sure she says hi back.
I'm sure she does.
Hi, Wendy.
There you go.
Next time we're gonna try to make it a little bigger, a little bit more heads up, so Becky can actually make.
Becky's planning on
Yeah.
coming up sometime,
Yeah. So we need to figure that out.
and we
Yes,
need
I want to.
we need to grab lunch afterwards or
Yeah,
something,
We'll
or
figure that out.
yeah.
We'll
Okay.
make a day of it.
Yes, we will.
Ooh.
LTP Fest.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for listening to the show. I know you've got some options out there in the world of Disneyland podcast, but I think ours is the best. We are an open and honest Disneyland show. We love the parks. We want to see them succeed, but we want to be honest and truthful. Think of us as your favorite Disneyland friends you just haven't met yet. I think we are that people. If you want to support the show, since today's show is sponsored by all of you, you can. We make it super simple. Go to leavingtodaypodcast.com. We have a support tab on there, and we have some Patreon links there to help that way. We also have shirts on TeePublic. You can get one of those. It helps support the show. And for that, really, it goes towards hosting fees. It goes towards LTP Lounge software. That's really what it goes for. It doesn't go for trips or churros or anything like that. And gear, it really goes for gear and stuff like that to keep this thing going. So whatever you do, it's very much appreciated. Okay, and again, I need to reiterate, if you're listening to my voice or our voices, that means you're listening to independent thought, independent creative arts, and that means a lot in today's age. People that are doing podcasts or people that are passionate about a certain topic. So just think about that every time you're doing it. Whatever podcast you're listening to, just keep that in mind that, these folks are doing it because they love it and they have passion for it.
Yeah. 100%. So, when we open up ourselves to listen to other people, I will tell you that it can be a challenge for some. Some people don't want to do it. I think that's why some people won't do it. But when you do that, trust me, the breadth of knowledge that you can gain from it is something that cannot be overstated. Because we are all different people. We all live our lives. We all have things that we've gone through, and finding commonality is infinitely important. I will tell you, last night was a good example of that because we had all these people from different walks, but here we were, and we had a bunch of different conversations about the park, about shows, about Star Wars, Marvel, like cultural stuff. We went into political topics, and they were animated, but all at a point of like listening. And I keep on saying it, that we need to listen to each other, open ourselves up to other people, and when we listen to podcasts, we expand our knowledge intake and our ability to bring in new information and be more receptive. You're gonna find things are not as horrible as some people want to make it out to be, and you're gonna find out that we, as a collective humanity, are much closer, no matter what the outside looks like.
Yeah.
Humanity, who we are as a core, is much closer than they want people to believe. So, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for taking this in. Thank you for giving us the gift of your time. It is greatly appreciated, and continue, please, and push this out. Push it out to other people. Let people know, like, hey, these guys are out here talking, and they're just speaking their mind. And we need to do more of that.
We do.
All of us do. And be open and accepting. So, yeah, thank you again for everything you guys do for us, and thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we're on the thank you train, I was thinking about this last night. If we'd never done the LTP, we wouldn't. That last night would have never happened.
Never happened. But how many? See, this is the beauty of this thing.
Yeah.
How many nights have we had like that?
Many.
We talk about that so much. How many people have we met? Becky's perfect example.
Yeah, Becky.
She's on the show now. We would have never met these people. They're far away. They're on other sides of the state.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked to people from all over this country.
Yep.
It is amazing, the people. And like you always say, Mark, which is one of the beauties of what Disney does, is that
the rare compliment.
It brings, shut up. I compliment you a lot. I'm just going to degrade it now. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's the beauty of the park, and why we stick to Disney is because we have this connective tissue that brings us together. And the park can be that and is that for so many people, because like we say it and you say it all the time, all the people we've met, all of them are just good people. And we can disagree on so many things, but at the core, you can see the humanity and the goodness of them. And if Disney and Disneyland brings that out of people, then why don't we need more of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. So the timing of this is strange. I'm in the middle of mixing episode 223. It's just about done. But I was listening to it, and I sat there. It's almost 3 hours long, but I sat there. I would have done it 2 hours and 33 minutes. I'll just say that.
Too much. He probably cut most. It was probably mostly me that he cut.
No, well, maybe a little bit, but that's okay. No, but I just sat there with a ton of gratitude, thinking, okay, Terrence. I love Terrence.
Yeah.
I love.
I know.
I love Jerome. I love Jay. All these people. I mean,
the list goes on and on and on. Yeah,
Shane Grammer.
Yeah.
I know there's many other people we've had on the show. Of course, Marcy.
Yeah.
Michael Bowling. All these people that I just love all these people, and I'm just so grateful that we put this together and can meet I don't know how to put it into words, but I feel like much more wealthier that I have these people around me, you know,
and then when we've had the opportunity to meet listeners on top of that, it just adds the whole thing. Like, man, it's baffling to me because Jess asked me yesterday, he's like, wait, how many years are we on? We're like 9. And I literally went like 9.
We're flirting with 10.
And I kind of went, holy crap. Like, I feel like when we hit that 10-year mark, we need to do a hard throwback. Like, go, and I may actually, it'll be difficult, but it makes me want to go back and go like, what have we covered? Because we get to a point where we're just moving and we're moving and we're moving and we're moving, and you add more people and you add more things, and you just keep on adding. And pretty soon, some of the stuff that you did years ago is way back there now. I almost forget. Like, did we talk about? Oh, yeah, we did. Like, episode 45. I have no idea what we talked about in episode 45. None.
No.
But I bet you there's probably somebody out there. Oh, yeah, episode 45, you guys talked about X, Y, and Z, and I'd be like, I blow my mind, but it's the reality of it. It's like it's crazy.
It's crazy. And when I said wealthy, well, I'm not talking about like financially. I'm talking about just a wealth of friends, which is completely much more important to me than anything else.
Even last year when we did the in-person for the 200th episode, I came to your house and never met you guys actually in person, but I felt like I had known you for years. I mean, even my husband left me at a house with all these men, which actually really is kind of weird. But I felt like Marcus, Jacob, everybody, like we had been a group of friends since like high school or something.
You're right.
It flowed, and even Terrence, I mean, he's just such a nice person. And I felt like there were so many things about him. I felt like a better person meeting him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I felt that way after Terrence, and I want to hang out with Terrence like today. I want to hang out with Jay today. I want to hang out with Jerome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Philander, like it's weird because he was on our show. And I ran into him walking through Grand California, and we just knew we knew who we were.
Yeah.
I go, oh, it's Philander. Cool. He goes, hey, he gives me a hug, and we have a picture of him with him, and I go, this is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what to even say except that I'm very thankful. I don't know why we're even talking about this right now.
Because we're being grateful.
Yeah, this is episode 2. Yeah, I guess episode 224 is our Thanksgiving episode.
Apparently, we're coming in early.
Yes, coming in early. Anyway, I don't know, a little side tangent.
Well, it is a great thing to talk about because, like you guys were saying, there is so much in the world where you think you see the worst in humanity.
Yeah. Yep,
but
you do.
Then it's great to remember that there is so much good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we all can relate on certain levels, or a lot of us can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need that. We need those friendships.
Yep.
We need those bonds.
For sure. And I was thinking about the other day when I go, oh, if I lived within an hour, how I wouldn't of the parks, how I wouldn't be going as much because I didn't want to ruin it. But for some reason, this like the last week and a half, I've really felt like I wanted to go to the park just for a couple hours in the evening. Just I need to reset something.
You know, when you made that comment, I kind of thought about it and like took me a second to process that because I'm like, you know, you wouldn't want to take away from it. I'm like, I don't know if it would. In fact, I think I said I don't think that would do. I think it would add it because it adds a sense of like, I don't know, stability and like, here is a place that I can go and just decompress, and you know it's not going anywhere. Like, talk about a constant just. I'm in a crap mood. I had a horrible day. I had this X, Y, Z, and da 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 da.
Yep.
And then, but I know what? I'm 1 hour away from walking into a place where it all disappears.
Sure.
It feels like going back to your parents' home or your family home.
Yep.
You know, when you live away and just that, oh man, I mean, it's different, but that you can release and I don't know, it's home.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But just for some reason, I felt like the last like 10 days, I would like to go today, and just disconnect, or just maybe I don't know. Maybe there must be some sort of there's a lot of positive energy there, so maybe I would have picked up on that.
Yeah.
But I probably would have felt hopeful. Not that I don't feel hopeful, but I would have felt like reassured and oh, okay, maybe inspired, and okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone,
Yeah, because it basically, no, like you said, you walk in and the positivity and the vibe in there.
Yeah.
It is undeniable.
Yeah. Yep. You get like a little spring in your step. Like it's weird, right, Becky?
It's so true.
Yeah.
It makes you want to turn to somebody and smile.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't always feel that at the grocery store or Target.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, okay, move this along.
Yeah.
But it makes you want to leave, and like, what kindness can you give to somebody?
It's funny you say that, Becky, because I'm going to just divulge an answer here that since I've never actually been asked the questions myself, but of the 5 questions that we ask our guests, when you take someone to Disneyland that doesn't like Disneyland, what are you going to show them? And I've never answered the question. I don't think any of us have.
I don't think so.
But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It's different than what people are saying, but I'm going to take them. I'm going to walk them over to the Hungry Bear restaurant, and I'm going to have them stand there for a minute until the train. And they're going to go, "What are we doing here?" Well, we're not going to order food, but when the train passes,
wait for it. Yeah.
When the train passes, watch how many people wave to you, and And when that happens
Mm-hmm.
and you wave back, these are complete strangers. You have
never
no
gonna
idea
see 'em
who they
again,
are. Never
probably,
going to see
yeah.
them again. Hey, I see you. Hey, have a great day at the park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, great. Have a great day. And then you turn around, and then perhaps the Mark Twain's coming by. People are waving to you.
Yeah.
That to me is what Disneyland is about. Is like I don't know you, but we're all in this thing together. It's this community. Now go be a pirate. Go be an astronaut. Go be a Matterhorn explorer. And I'll see you on the flip side. That's kind of right.
No, 100%.
Okay, so that's what I would do. It isn't about buying churros for me or taking them to Fantasyland. Although those are great answers, but it's the connection between strangers and friends, and that's what it is.
Yep, 100%.
And there really is nowhere else that you get that.
No.
I mean, there's so many times not very many.
Well, I would say you're right, because other people can will probably point like, well, there's clubs and stuff. I go, yeah, but that is a very select, small amount. And clubs and things like that don't usually just do that with strangers. You got to become part of the club. That place is literally you walk in the front gate, you go to the right, and then you go in. Mm-hmm. You're there. You're part of the club. If you want to be in a good mood, talk to people, wave at people, do whatever you want to do, and just be. You're in. You're done. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
And the other people in that park will be like, hey, hi. Hi. And that is it. Have a good one. How many great conversations we struck up with people that we will never know their name, never knew who they are, but they are happy. We're happy. We're talking about random stuff, the park here, da-da-da-da. I always go back to that one lady that when we were in line.
Oh, for Soarin'?
For Guardians. Remember that one? The Guardians they're talking, and, and then you asked her, hey, which one was better?
A
million times better. So these are the random conversations you have with people.
We had that in Soarin', too.
We did.
That family or a couple?
That family, yeah. And so this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the park and we talk about, this is what we're talking about. All these are little examples of why we continue to be here 9 years later going on 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why we're talking about this, but this
I don't know either.
There's also there's that level of like decorum you sort of have when you go in there. I know not everyone gets it, but I think the majority gets it.
Yeah.
Like
by far.
There's a certain amount of courtesy and respect for the park. In fact, I've told people to pick up their trash when they're leaving. If you're waiting for a table, they just get up and leave. I go, nah, guys, that goes over there. Oh, okay. Yep, and I've said that to them.
Yeah.
I have no trouble saying that. But just courtesy thing. I haven't come across anybody that's been rude or I'm sure there's, of course, a few people there. But anyways, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, just rare.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, when you see people walking around with a button, how you hear everybody saying happy birthday, welcome when it's their first trip, congratulations.
Yep.
I mean, everybody in line is saying that. It's just unique.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, today we're talking about the news, and I guess we're having a little bit of a moment of thankfulness, which is great. There's always, and that wasn't even planned.
No. They never really are.
No, they never.
No.
They
never
are. And then I have a topic that I haven't talked about yet, but it's interesting.
And I got an opening question.
Oh, okay. Well,
opening rarity. So.
Rarity. Opening question from
me,
the Trailmaster Puppets himself. Yes.
You guys ready? We ready for it?
I'm a little nervous.
It's not that bad.
We got it.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
What of all the things that have come and gone from the park, and it can be anything, it can be DCA as well, what would you put on the top of your list? Disney comes to you and goes, hey, we want to bring back something, a retro thing, something. And we want you to tell us what it is. What is it? You get one.
That's a great question.
Only one. And it can fall into attraction. It can be show. It can be whatever. One thing that you go, I want that back above anything else.
Well, there's two that come to my mind immediately.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I had two to come back in my mind as well. Went right away. When that question popped in my head, I'm like, I went 1, 2.
Yep. And I think go ahead, Becky.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was going to say, I think mine will be different from both of yours.
Probably.
But I'll just go ahead and say it.
Go for it.
So you guys could think a little more. I would bring back in Fantasmic the princess, the original princess sequence. I liked how they had it. I'm trying to remember the songs offhand, but it involved Snow White. It had a little different setup for the princesses, and I really liked the way that song flowed, and it would always get me some tears with it. It just was powerful, and I remember being young and thinking like, oh, my prince will come someday. And it just spoke to me, so it would be that.
Nice. Yeah, completely different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow, that's out of all the things, okay.
I know.
Like all of them, you're gonna go with that? Okay. Okay.
Well, that's.
I feel like it's like I just got the magic lamp and I did the worst wish.
No.
I didn't wish for more wishes.
Yeah. No, I mean that came from the heart, Becky, and that's good.
Yeah.
So there's two obvious ones for me, but I'm also thinking about, and I'm just saying it. But I wish we had another dinner show like the Golden Horseshoe Review or Tahitian Terrace. Mm-hmm. There's something about that, being with a family or a group of friends, watching a show, connecting that way. And I wish they could have done that in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Mm-hmm. I mean, although I don't know how that would have played out.
They could have done a full battle, the whole thing. No, that would have been good.
That would be fun to watch a dinner show. Mm-hmm. But since you're asking...
Dueling pianos.
No, I'm much better than that.
Oh, I mean, no, but there's a good example for anybody who never got to see that. It is amazing. But anyway,
well, I'm talking about the original Golden Horseshoe stuff.
I got you.
Yeah, and even the Tahitian Terrace, where there's a waterfall which opened up and dancers came out and you had all this stuff and anyway.
Was that one where, if for a short time, was it like Aladdin's Oasis?
Yep.
Or some, okay.
Yeah, which is now the Tahitian Terrace.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I have little memories.
I'm sorry. It's the Tropical Hideaway. Now. The
Tropical Hideaway.
Yeah,
okay,
I don't know why I said that. Yeah.
I have memories of doing a dinner show there with my dad, and it was like Aladdin themed.
Yep.
Or at least I thought it was when I was little.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay, and my dad got called up to be one of the dancers, and he had to wear like a cone bra.
Oh yeah.
Put on him and like dance.
Oh yeah. Yep. But I'm gonna say it's gonna be one of two things that I'm vacillating between, and I'm crap. I'm probably gonna say Skyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Skyway is gonna be it, just for me, because it's so. I mean, there's only a couple of them left. We can have Robbie back on again any time.
Always so much fun to talk to.
Yeah. It got probably Skyway, but I also love the other idea, which I think Udi's going to take it now. So I'm going to say Skyway back. Yeah. Okay, Skyway.
Well, no, because I've got two, and Skyway was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
I want my enchiladas back.
Oh, do you think I say the People Mover?
No.
Oh.
My enchiladas trump the People Mover. People Mover was fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But man, my enchiladas.
My enchiladas.
That hurts deep. That was a deep cut. Like, that hurt.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they can actually make them for you.
I would guarantee they can.
Yeah.
You would think that they could.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it is the sauce. So if I can get that red sauce on a burrito,
yeah,
I could probably handle it. But anyway, no, but no, I mean, I need a moment of silence. No, I'm kidding. No, but Skyway is mine, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Like, well, we gotta. But I'm like, I figure it out. Like, the weights are still there. You have your counterbalances. You build your towers back in. Let's freaking go. Open up the Matterhorn. You can all do it. Let's go. But because I will go back to it. The Skyway gave the park goer a different aspect and a different view of the park.
Yeah.
Which is difficult to explain unless you've been on it.
Right.
And anyone who can remember back to riding that, like I said, I bring back the stories of being a kid and riding it with my brother and my sister from Tomorrowland into Fantasyland. And I will always, and like I close my eyes right now and I think about it, coming out of the Matterhorn, coming over into Fantasyland, seeing the...
At night.
Mm-hmm. the pathway's lit. And then as you
with
come
blues
over,
and greens and yellows and
yeah, and then you come over and you begin to go into Fantasyland. You fly over that, and you see all the activity and all the people and all the different attractions going. You see Dumbo, and you see all these things. And I'm like, that perspective of being up above everything, it added to its just surreal feeling of the whole thing, but it made you feel like you're Peter Pan, like you're a Dumbo. You're flying above everything, and you can see everything, and it just is something that I wish more people could see now.
Yeah.
Because it's something just different about going up and seeing everything. Like this is why I think there's a part of me with HVAC when there is a roof, a high roof, whatever. I like scramble up there now. Like I will go up there. There are plenty of pictures of me sitting on the edge of balconies and stuff like that, off of scaffolding 8 stories up, looking out at the sky, because it gives me that perspective of like, you see everything from so high, and it's just something so unique that some people are afraid of, but I don't know what it is that it gives you that just, I don't know, sense of awe for me. So I really wish that was back, because that is something I think once a kid experiences that, it's hard. Like I said, that happened 40 years ago.
Right.
And it's like I did it yesterday.
Well, for those of you in Northern California, you can still ride one. And there's only one left in Northern California. It's at Great America, the VR 101. So you get the same experience. It'll be not the same scene, but you know what we're talking about. And Southern California has 2 of those. And that's pretty much it in California. I'm sure Robbie knows where they all are. And
he does.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a very good question.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Broken
clock.
Okay. So let's go to the news. Unless you want to do a quick pro tip I guess have a pro tip. We can think about that.
I just came up with an opening question. Now you want a pro tip? No, it's fine. We can do
it. One pro tip to enhance your trip to the park.
One pro tip to rule them all.
Yeah. Okay, I'll come up with a quick pro tip here. This is on the DCA side of the resort. With the summer months coming up, and this place is very easy to miss if you're not paying attention, but it's called the Adorable Snowman Treats, or the Adorable Snowman, what is it called?
Adorable Snowman Frosted Treats.
Frosted Treats. And if you're walking towards Incredicoaster, it is on the left-hand side, right at the apex of the boardwalk. Actually, I think when it's starting to go down, the line really isn't ever that long, but it moves by fast. If you happen to see that if it appears long, it does go by pretty fast. But what they have, frozen lemon, well, like a soft serve, and they also make like a Pixar parfait, and it's got like a blue raspberry like slushy in the middle. And they also cut one with alcohol as well, but I haven't had that one. I've had the 2 ones mentioned. The first time I got it was with Udi. We did it on a whim, and it was instant hit. Every time we go, I try to get one with my daughters, or Wendy and I have gotten one, and they're just so good. So do check out that. I don't think they get a lot of love, but I'm telling you right now, LTP approved frozen treat at the Adorable Snowman. Yeah.
Do you prefer snow-capped or no snow-capped?
Very good question, Becky, and thank you for asking that. I love them all.
I go none. I don't like
none. Snow-capped is like that hard white chocolate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yep. Me too. But
I also like it. I like the parfait version with the blue raspberry, because it's an icy. And I'm gonna sound just like Jay. The crunchiness of the ice mixed in with the with the lemon.
Right.
It's it's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's
I just looked up their drinks, the alcoholic ones, and they have it's chili lime mango margarita.
They have one there? There?
Yeah, they have one there. I didn't know that. Non-dairy mango soft serve with tequila, chamoy, chili lime seasoning, and diced mango.
Sounds good.
It sounds good. And then they also have a Pixar Pier Frosty Parfait with spiced rum.
Parfait.
Oh,
that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that sounds good.
What?
You can pick lemon, mango, or raspberry with blue raspberry swirl and a splash of spiced rum.
Not bad.
Doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah, I think it's like basically the parfait with some
Rum.
rum.
How much is that?
$17.50.
Mm.
I
Could
mean,
be
for
worth
a
it. No,
drink though at a park.
Yeah, no, and then on a hot day,
Yeah.
done.
Okay.
But like a snow-capped one is $6.79.
Yeah, that's a perfect treat.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. They're shareable, but don't share it with anybody because you only want No, I'm joking. Share it with whomever. All right. Do you guys have any pro tips?
Well, I'm gonna go off of that because I'm like I haven't given DC any love, I don't think either. And then I'm gonna go with the food, and I think this one might be pretty much a well-known one, but I feel like it needs to be reiterated.
Yeah.
The cookies.
Oh.
From Jack Jack Cookie Num Nums.
Yep.
It is a really small little cart thing, but I will tell you this: getting that cookie warm, holy crap, it is really good. It is nothing like earth-shatteringly like, look at all the things we put in the cookie. It's not that. It's more about the size of the cookie, and it is just so good. I think last time we got it was at night, coming off of Incredicoaster, and it was like it added the whole thing. Like it just added the fact that it's there. If you guys know about the cookie Num Nums and the whole thing with the story, just everything into it, it is a cookie, but when it's warm and fresh and coming off, it is something pretty dang good.
They sell ice cold milk there too. Yeah. The funny that the first time they ever encountered that, I was with my daughters, and I had my phone in my backpack or side pack or shoulder bag or whatever I had. Anyways, I ordered the cookie, and I said, "Hey, you guys, stand here with the cookie, and let me get my phone out." I took a picture, and then I put my backpack, and then I put my phone back in the backpack. The cookie's gone. Mm-hmm. I go, "Oh, that was about 8 seconds."
Yeah.
Where's the cookie? Oh, we just split it. I go,
what about me?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful times.
I guess I need to get another one. Yeah. And that's the thing is like the cookie is really good, but it adds to the whole thing. Like I said, they're warm, they're soft, you can eat it, and they're really just good.
Yeah.
So a lot of people I know will walk by it if they don't know it's right there either, because if they're not in the Incredicoaster, like once you get in the line for the Incredicoaster, then you can kind of see it off to your right as you're going. But, definitely when you come off of it, it's like, oh, there it is. So,
yeah.
It can be one of those things that if you're not looking, you can flow right by it. So, if you haven't had one, which I feel like most of you who are listening to this right now, get back, yeah, I've had it. But just in case.
Yes.
For anybody who's just coming into the park and just figured out, just found us, if you have, thank you. And you're like, oh, yeah, put it on your list. Put it on your list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I wish we were at the parks right now because the wait times are so good.
Can I just say this real quick? Mark, every time, and I'm going to say this, every time Mark sends that text about, like, it would be great to be in the park right there.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Every time he does, I'm like, agreed. And even though I don't always respond with agreed in the text thread, I always think that. I'm like, no, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Which, I feel like I want to put a counter up, like, okay, how many times a week does Mark send?
That he wants to be
we'll put a counter.
Well, mine wasn't going to be food related. I was just going to say embrace your inner child. Like, don't be afraid if you hear a song on Main Street and you want to dance. Just embrace it, enjoy it, smile. Don't care about anybody watching you.
Yep. I like it.
Yes.
I should think of a meal.
Go vibe, go vibe. No, you're good. That's a good one.
Udi has often broken into dance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rolled my ankle on the rail.
Oh, I've done that. I've done that.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't done that forever.
One time we talked about with my dad, he was going down Main Street and he had on a backpack. And he just did like a little jump and like click his heels together, and kind of like to jump on the curb though, and fell. It was so sad. My sister and I were right behind him. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a very good advice.
Yep.
All around. Okay, well, let's go to the news.
You listen to me now. You are talking about things that you do not understand.
All right. First news item here is the 2025 Halloween at Disneyland Oogie Boogie Bash dates and more have been announced.
Already? We're there already?
Yes, 2025 has flown by.
Yes, it has.
But that just means we're getting closer to some of the most enchanting times of the year at the Disneyland Resort. And with the Disneyland Resort's 70th celebration still underway, we're here to share that the fall nostalgia and festive lights will be especially memorable. Mm-hmm. How does that sound? Great. All right. Basically, that means Oogie Boogie Bash for 2025. They're coming out. They start on select nights, starting on August 17th, which is my daughter's birthday, through August 31st. Sorry, through October 31st, which is Halloween, of course. During this family-friendly after-hours event, you can creep through Villains Grove and blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing every year. Mm-hmm. I don't need to go into that.
We know. There isn't anything new.
There might be some new villains that you get to see. So tickets for sale, and the article says you need to mark your calendar, so everyone please do that. Stop the show right now and mark them. The calendars need to be marked. June
They're coming up, too.
Yeah, actually, well, that's this week. June 26th, no earlier than 9 a.m. Pacific time. Pre-sale tickets will be available to Magic Key holders on Disneyland.com beginning on, inspired Magic Key holders June 24th, all Magic Key holders on June 25th, and the rest, everyone else gets to go on June 26th. I don't know how many they are allowing you to get, but I hope that they don't let people buy however many they want, so they can just,
the aftermarket.
Well, I think they're cracking down on that.
They have been.
Yeah,
I think so.
Disneyland needs to do that stuff. This is kind of silly. So this is going to be again at DCA. It used to be at Disneyland. Actually, it used to be at DCA, then Disneyland, not back at DCA.
Good call.
Yep. Time is between 6 and 11. And of course they have a mix in it, like 3 hours or yeah, I think at 3 okay, yeah, 3 o'clock they let you mix in before the party begins. Tickets start at $140.
Good.
And they go all the way up to $200.
Insane.
Yeah, that is.
The pricing is insane. I don't care.
October 31st is the only one that's at $200. I'm sure people will buy that. I think you are out of your mind to do this. And I've said this before, and I said this last year. When they first started doing this, I think it was like $20.
Mm-hmm. I think it was
crazy.
Wasn't it like 35?
Well, no. When we first took the girls, I think it was $20 or $24.
Wow. Yep.
And you could buy it the day of. I go, oh, I guess we can go to it tonight. It's only $25 each.
Wow.
But this to me is, again, if we are sitting at TDA thinking, well, this is a popular event, do we want more people to come to this, or do we want to make it like a limited time, like a limited experience? Because $199 is just stupid math.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Again, when we come across this topic, it always comes down to this: the value of it. It's do you feel that you are getting a return for what you're giving in?
Yeah.
And if you don't feel that, you're not going to do it. I don't see how much longer Disney can continue to do this before there's serious, like, the breaking point is going to be reached.
Yeah.
And I can't help but feel like it's coming pretty quick.
Well, Disney, I think, relies on that FOMO a lot, right?
They do, and credit to them. This is how this goes. They've done a lot of it, and we've talked about it often that Disney relies heavily on the Disney faithful, and especially Disneyland proper. It being the second park, as far as revenue. So they do lean into that, and honestly, I kind of don't mind it because I get it, but the other part of me, I hate it when they do things like this, where it's like so over the top. and they still expect the Disney faithful to just show up. And that is when I get a little irritated because, like, no, now you're taking advantage of people because of FOMO. And isn't there a part in time where, like, maybe we don't do that? Maybe we try to, instead of trying to profit in this moment, you do what we talked about when we talked about earlier. You create the environment and create that constant Disney person that can afford to be there and is going to go there.
Yeah.
And do that and feed into that, because sooner or later you reach a breaking point where only rich people or well-off people can go. You're going to cut yourself off at the knees because you're killing off that culture. So it's like that broken flower or the cut flower theory, if you guys are even familiar with it. The cut flower theory is, a flower's pretty when it's growing, right? And then people go, oh, how pretty, and they cut it and then they put it in a vase or something. That has a life then, and it will die.
Yeah.
So what do? You cut it and you put it in there and you enjoy it while you can, and then it dies and you throw it out? Or do you leave it in the ground and you keep on feeding, you leave it in a planter and you let it grow, and you constantly have that beauty there? This is this to me. Anytime I see this, I go like, you guys, you can't keep on going here, because sooner or later you're going to cut. You keep on trimming and trimming and trimming and trimming, and pretty soon the people can go there are going to be like, I don't want to go there today. I want to go to Antigua instead. Okay.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's going to be like that. You keep on cultivating that, and it's not good, and it's anti-Walt. I can say that firmly. That is anti-Walt.
And it's like even the cheapest is $140, and you can only go for 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
6 to.
And there's not a kid's price, so I'd be paying. So say I went in August on Sunday, August 31st, it's $154. So I would pay $154, and my 3-year-old would pay $154.
Yeah.
Who she's taller than average, but still she's not going to go on Guardians. There's so many things at that park she's not going to do Incredicoaster.
No.
I guess I'm trying to weigh it out, because I have always wanted to do a Halloween party. It has. And especially being a mom, like getting to have kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I want to do this. But there is already a lot of celebrations between both parks for Halloween during the day.
Yeah.
Right.
My kids already wear princess costumes when they're at the park already. The only difference is we're not trick-or-treating.
Right.
Right? Or there's dessert, or there is the parade.
Sure. If that's your jam. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to discourage people from going. For me, in my situation, it's not something that's even on the radar. I mean, it sounds kind of fun, but really, you're just paying to maybe get on rides a little bit faster there. Villains Grove, I think, is awesome, but it isn't worth the price.
But is it? We would pay $616 for a family of 4 to go. Is it that awesome for one night?
That's what it is.
Now, now you're talking, if we get a 3-day pass, especially if we buy on a special, that's going to be the cost for the family.
So divide that.
Not that much more.
What is that number? 616.
616.
So divide that by 8, just real quick.
77.
Okay, so you are paying $77 an hour to be at that park. If you scan in at 3 and you're kicked out at 11, that's 8 hours. That's what you're paying per hour to be at that park. There's no math that makes. No. Someone tell me, how does that make sense?
Well, and think about it. My kids do have a hard time going to bed, but when they're go like at the park, they're gonna fall asleep by 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
Okay, are you gonna let them eat all the candy while they're there, Becky?
Well, that's the other thing. I'm not. Even if they get a bag of candy, I mean, there's so many times, even just Easter, we still have Easter candy. I have it hidden, and I just try to give it to people when they come over. Like if Tim has friends over playing like poker, there's some candy. We just threw away a thing of Peeps because we didn't want them to keep seeing it and wanting them.
Oh yeah, Peeps.
You know. Sorry to the grandparent who got us them, but there's only so much you can have.
Yeah.
But no, the answer is, I mean, we'd be more relaxed than an average day, but no, I mean, they're going to be grumpy and take the fun out of it.
Well, I mean, I still think the pros for me are, yes, I'm glad Disney is having these special ticketed events. I love these special theme nights for people. It adds an element of excitement above and beyond the ordinary thing. And the ordinary thing is still pretty dang good anyways.
Yeah.
And I do encourage people to go to these, but I wish that they were a little more family friendly in terms of like the financial part of it. Because you're not getting, I mean, you still have to pay for special meals there, you know. Oh, you got to get this fiendish cookie. That's like $18. Okay. And you go and there's a massive line for the fiendish cookie and whatever. I mean, it's always that kind of stuff there.
Yeah. Again, this is where it becomes that, like I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with doing that kind of stuff from a financial business point of view, as far as like, hey, we're going to theme this and they're going to hype it up, and of course they're going to. That is their job. But to me, it's striking that fine line, and to me, they saw the fine line and barreled right past it. And to me, and it can keep on going. I'm like, dude, hey, you know, the snapback is going to happen sooner or later, and I just feel like it's coming. I still feel like, for all our issues with Disney Corp, this is one of the big ones, is the continued asking, because without going too far into it, I'll just say this. We know why they keep on driving up prices at the park.
Yeah.
It has to do constantly with the failures from the other sectors of the company. Okay? The other sectors, mainly the entertainment side of it, has been a massive, gigantic failure for the most part. I think it's an 80-20 thing. 80% of the stuff they put out has failed. Okay? You cannot sustain that. The only reason why Disney Corp can continue to move forward is the parks. Mainly Florida, and then Disney proper right on the heels of that. I mean, well, not really. Like, when you look at the numbers, like Disney, the money they make out of Disney Florida is insane. But this is why they continue to jack up these prices. It's a hand. It's not
the money they make out of Disney Forward.
No, out of Disney Florida.
Oh, Florida. I thought
he said forward too.
Oh, yeah,
sorry, Disney
but
Florida.
That makes sense, Florida.
Yeah, Disney Florida.
Okay.
So, when you think about that, so it makes sense from that point of view. You see, like, we go, of course, they're a corporation. They're going to be, their job is to make money for their shareholders, whatever. But when they continue to do this, it's like, why are you so aggressive? Because, maybe this is just the feeling. I have nothing, no data to back it up, but it's just the feeling. Like, it feels like these price hikes have been aggressive over the last few years, like aggressive. And it just has that sense of like, man, if we break down these costs for like an Oogie Boogie Bash, we go back 5 years, what was it, $100?
If that, yeah.
If that, like 80, I think it was 89.
Sure.
Yeah, and look at it now, I would do that all day long.
Right, yeah. And look at now, 140.
So 200.
Right, and 200 some.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it. It's like, okay, what is driving it? It isn't just purely because they want money. I mean, true, they want money, but this is why I get so hard on Bob Iger, because clearly his failures as leadership on the other sectors is affecting the park in a negative way, and they keep on coming back to the golden goose. And sooner or later, you keep on doing, the golden goose is going to give its last golden egg, and then what are you going to do? So this is why I have such a big problem, other than just it being a financial thing. Like, holy crap, are you kidding me? But
okay.
Anyway, if you want to go and spend the money, more power to you.
Well, from my perspective, as a parent who would be taking our kids, I would almost rather see that kind of thing for a Christmas party, because then you could build it in as your Christmas gift. Yeah. Although I think my kids are like a little too young for even the concept of like gifts and, figuring that out. But I'm thinking more of like the sweet spot of like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, like, hey, we're going to go to Disneyland. That's your Christmas gift. And here's something special we're doing, maybe. I don't know. Because even with the Halloween party, while we're talking, I'm trying to go through what would even be the sweet spot. Because for that price, I think, my one, Lucy would be 2. We wouldn't have to pay till next year. But I think that they would be too young to even get value out of it, because they love the characters, so they would want to go do that, but they're not going to be going on all of the rides at that park. The villains is going to be scary for them. Even if it's something that's not scary, they're going to see, whoever Ursula and be scared because they know the movie. They're not going to stay up till midnight. I just don't. So I'm trying to even see what the sweet spot. They might sit and watch a parade. They might not feel like it. Yeah. So like value wise, I think it'd be more valuable to just get a 3-day park hopper, or 2-day, and go to the parks and enjoy Halloween.
Unless Halloween is your jam and you love dressing up, then this is really the thing for you. But for me,
true, because as an adult, you can dress up in cool costume too. So that's cool. But
all right. Well, anyways, they go on sale this week, so get them early and get them. Get what?
Get them often.
Get them often. Yes.
Well, it'll be interesting. Our next show. Maybe we'll have some information on how fast they sell out. Did they sell out?
We will.
Yep.
Yeah, and that'll be neat to look at.
Yes, we'll have some metrics to analyze.
Yep.
Yes. All right, next news item. New permit for the Storybook Land canal boats in Disneyland. Disneyland's beloved Storybook Land canal boats are set to receive magical updates, with a new permit filed revealing exciting additions and scheduled refurbishment beginning July 21st. Mm-hmm. Fans of the charming Fantasyland attraction can anticipate new details and enhanced scenery as Disney prepares to introduce a new 10-foot max height show set element and 2 aluminum tube trellis arches. These changes, alongside electrical throughout the attraction work, suggest an elevated visual experience for guests cruising through miniature storybook worlds. The permit entry specifically outlines DLR Storybook Land Canal miscellaneous 10-foot max height show set elements with new steel column, utilizing existing footing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so really, I think this is interesting that they're doing this. It might be they are adding like a new shade structure over the queue line, because that queue line is pre-exposed to the elements. And the way they're making it sound with arches and electricity might be like with new popcorn lights and things like that. Might be how it is. That's the only thing I can really think of, unless they're going to create some new arch along the route, which could be interesting as well.
Maybe something to cover it a little bit more.
Yeah. The Storybook Land canal boats, which guides guests through miniature scenes from classic Disney animated films like Pinocchio, Alice in Wonderland, and Frozen, are a timeless staple of Disneyland. The upcoming refurbishment beginning on July 21st will allow for these new elements to be integrated seamlessly into the attraction's whimsical environment. And it says, while Disneyland often conducts routine refurbishments for maintenance, the details provided in this permit suggest a more significant refresh aimed at enhancing the storytelling and visual appeal of this cherished ride. Yeah. Is right.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too, maybe even more lighting throughout it so that when you're going in the evening.
Yeah, 100%. So I read the little the part kind of outlining the
what the permit asked for.
What the permit asked for. So Mark, I agree with you to an extent that the footings and multiple arches, what they're kind of talking about. Okay. So miscellaneous 10-foot height show set elements with new steel column utilizing existing footing. That is basically saying, look, there's concrete here, so we want to add a 10-foot structure onto this existing footing is the concrete that's there. So I agree with you to an extent that maybe something for the queue, but I'm reading into it. I'm trying to read a little bit further. I think they may be adding some stuff into the other than electrical.
Some show elements?
Yeah, into it. I'm only speculating clearly, but as I read it, I'm like, it feels like a little bit more extensive. Definitely the electrical throughout the attraction is something good. They're going to be adding new lighting, which makes me curious about if they're going to add new elements within there as far as like an electrical. Maybe small screens, maybe add some action to it, because they can add some kind of movement with screens. They've done a lot of screen work. And to be fair, we have talked about something like this for a while now, that how would we improve Storybook? And we brought up when that dreaded randomizer pops up. I think we've all said some version of it. And I recall me saying if they added another storyline or refresh or add some new tech to it, which would make it a little bit more interactive, that would be beneficial. And this is what it kind of sounds like. They're kind of playing with that idea, which to me is fantastic, because the beauty of this attraction is it walks you through a bunch of different stories of Disneyland, and it really helps you connect with the overall theming and what Walt was trying to do. Learn, entertain you through these great, very great stories that are overarching and are significant. You know, they teach a lot. So I don't know. I think this is. I'm actually kind of excited because it makes me feel like they're looking at a classic like this and going, okay, we've had this since opening. You know, since opening day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but let's do something to kind of modernize and bring people back into it, because these are the core elements of that park that need this, and they need to stay. Even though I said we can get rid of it on a number of occasions, but I'm glad they're doing this, and I think they're going to go a little bit further than just like awning stuff. I get that feeling.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I get that feeling.
I'm looking sorry, Mark.
No, you go ahead.
The schedule shows as far out as August 3rd, and it's still down. So I think it probably will be down for a while. I would guess, like maybe a couple months.
It could be.
You think?
Yeah, and to be well, again, I'm only speculating because I would love these. Whenever they talk about this, my mind automatically goes, "Give me the blueprints. I want to see the."
Yeah, I want to see that too.
Because in that way, when I see that kind of stuff, I can. To me, it gives me a much better idea of like not only the extent, but also gives me an idea of like, okay, this should take roughly about X amount of time if everything runs smoothly. And then, so whenever I hear a 1 or 2 month thing going out, I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Because I've seen electrical guys go in and wire and set an entire building in 2 days. Okay.
Yeah, but
it's a brand new construction, so I know there's a bit of give and take with that. But that's what I'm saying. So when I hear 1 or 2 months, I'm like, okay, is that demo? How much is it demo? So my mind automatically goes into that logic of like, okay, well, why is it going to be 2 months, and what are they possibly trying to accomplish in 2 months, and why is it going to take 2 months? So you know, it's a bunch of speculation clearly, but it makes me wonder when you hear 2 or 3 months. I'm like, okay, they're gonna do some work there.
Well, you brought up the idea of maybe having some sort of like screen. How cool would it be to have like Mr. Toad on a projection, like a LCD screen in the back?
Yeah,
like going.
Yeah,
hopping. Going to like nowhere in particular. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that'd be really awesome to have that.
You think about that. You can animate and add this kind of like kinetic movement throughout that attraction. How much more fun would that be? And then definitely having, you know, the cast member there, and they can add to the whole thing of it. So overall, like this may actually be pretty cool, because to me I go back to what they did with Snow White.
Oh yeah.
And what they did with Snow White is something that I still go like, man, that is peak good Disney stuff right there. The way they improved that attraction, it was, how long was it down? Like a year. I feel like it was down for a while. And for you, many people who don't know the old version versus the new one is so good. It really is.
It's like the perfect refresh. Because it changes it so much, but yet keeps the classic. They did a really wonderful job.
And so this is where I'm like, please do that with this. That would be amazing. Yeah. And then it gives this attraction another 30, 40 years of life.
Right.
It really does.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of cool.
Originally, I was a little mad when I saw it going down in July, when that's the anniversary. But I actually do think that it's probably good timing, because it is hot doing that one.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like working with that, and you know, it is what it is.
Yep. All right. Well, the next news item, which is the last one, is Disneyland working. This comes from the OC Register. Disneyland working on the way monorail will interact with Avatar Land. This is how I sent you that link or those pictures the other day about Disneyland will transform a portion of the Hollywood backlot areas of DCA into an Avatar destination experience. The Disneyland monorail isn't going away, even though new concept art for the Avatar themed land coming to DCA leaves out the highway and the Sky Track that currently slashes through the location for the Pandora attraction plan for Anaheim. Walt Disney Imagineering is working on the way Disneyland Monorail will interact with DCA, according to Disneyland officials. Work will begin on the Avatar themed land early 2026, when the Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue Dark Ride closes to make way for the construction. New concept art shows visitors wandering through the water-centric Avatar land, dominated by a towering ribbed rockwork with a cascading waterfall and cave-like tunnels. The rib-like rockwork almost certainly hides an attraction building, it does, and Harbor Boulevard businesses. That interesting. We need to come up with a name for that thing.
What?
The little rock thing.
Let's call it
the Avatar land?
Yeah, that circular rib thing.
The thing that should not be?
It looks like, you know what? It looks like that Awesome Blossom thing at Outback or Bloomin' Onion thing.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll go with wait.
Yeah.
The Bloomin' Onion. How about let's call it that?
I'm gonna call it the thing that shouldn't be there.
I get more excited to see a blooming onion. I'm sorry, but it does look pretty. But
yeah,
a blooming onion is good.
Yeah, you guys can call it the blooming onion. I'm gonna refer to it as a thing that should be somewhere else.
It does look like ribs. It reminds me of in Lion King when Scar takes over and it's like, you know what I'm talking about? There's like one part, it's like a dead animal he's kind of living in.
Yeah.
It does look like the ribs from the.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, only it's lush.
Yes.
Here.
Depending on the location and orientation, the Bloomin' Onion could also shield the Disneyland monorail that runs through the middle of the new theme land and would disrupt the carefully crafted storytelling environment. Disneyland has not yet announced if the monorail will run through the Avatar destination or be rerouted around it. Another big question is, will the Disneyland monorail close during the construction of the new Avatar land?
Okay, so I think we talked about it before. That we talked about the thing that should be somewhere else is probably going to be in that corner to kind of block off a lot of it. We talked about it 2 shows ago maybe. And it makes 100% sense. Remember I said, like, we were looking at the concept, I'm like, well, that needs to be there because that can block all that off. Yeah. The monorail can go behind it, blah, 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 blah. So I get they don't have anything definitive, but it makes only logical sense that since they're going to jam it in that corner, they've always had that big rockwork thing. I can't call it blooming in. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But we call it that rockwork thing because, you know, to be fair, when I see what I see.
What do you see?
I see a face hugger from Aliens. That's what I see.
Oh.
Anyway, because the many aren't. But anyway, that's what I see. So it only makes sense that they're going to use that rockwork and everything to hide all that.
It does.
It's kind of like a no-brainer. To me, it's a no-brainer. But who knows? That's probably why they'll do something different. But then that other goes to if they don't reroute monorail. Well, if they reroute, any way you cut it, monorail is going to stop. Whether they reroute it or not, if they're doing construction work and the monorail is going to go anywhere near that, boom, it will be shut down.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to have anyone working on anything in that vicinity with the monorail running. So I'm just going to tell everybody now, don't be surprised when they announce the monorail is going to be down for about 1.5 years. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. Get mad because I am. Even though I don't write it, again, it's going to be that I don't always need to write it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I even was Googling, like, May 2024 was the monorail running, because the last few times I've been, it hasn't been running, and I do miss it, even if I'm not going to ride it.
So you're going, you're going when? You're going when?
July 25th, her birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ride it. Go ride it.
Yeah, I'll
go
ride
the monorail. Go ride the monorail. I'm going to tell you this, go ride the monorail. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll gladly be wrong about it, but it's going to be going down for a while.
Yeah, well, I like my kids too. And...
Yeah.
I wonder if they could make it a shuttle version as opposed to a loop. Temporarily.
Oh, like just go in one and back.
One and then one and then one and back. I don't think so because it is. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm full disclosure. I've not given this much thought until just a second because I don't know which way that. I mean, it could go the other way, couldn't it?
But the thing is, if you're going to do that, you're going to go down to one train.
That's what I think. It would have to be one train.
You get one train, and that's it. You go back and forth. And if they maintain it running from maybe like Tomorrowland back and around, like that wouldn't be too bad. It definitely, but I don't know. I don't see them doing it. I feel like there are a lot of safety concerns that need to apply into that. Like, how are you going to stop it? Where you're going to? I just feel like there's a lot of things that it's not insurmountable. But I don't know if they want to go through that hassle, which would be easier.
Yeah.
If they're doing any sort of construction, if like one thing went wrong.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like that's probably too much of a liability.
Yeah. They're like a lot of the things that we talk about. I mean, we always, I think, sometimes a lot of people, and we're included in this, that we forget there is a lot of other factors that apply into it.
Yeah.
So you brought up liability. I mean, you would know about liability. It happens a lot. It happens a lot of other things that I got to deal with every day at work, and I say, why, blah, 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 and I always look at my coworker and go like, insurance, man.
Insurance. Insurance.
He's like, you know why they're doing it? Why? It's stupid. I'm like, insurance. I go, oh, yeah.
I know what Disneyland's thinking right now.
What are they thinking?
They're thinking, yeah, we can close this down for 18 months. And they, oh, well, that's going to suck. Then here's what they're thinking. Guess what? Now we can have a special limited time, monorail viewing dinner location for the fireworks on the monorail platform.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They're gonna do that.
Mm-hmm. They will find a way to maximize income, which part of me is not that mad about it, but the other part of me is like, come on, man.
Yeah, but no, they're gonna actually probably offer that platform for limited viewing for the fireworks, $39 a person or whatever. Mm-hmm. You get one soft drink and trail mix, and you get to sit there for 2 hours.
And like a ho-ho.
Yeah, a ho-ho. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we're just really scratching the surface on this for the show, and I think we're going to go further. We have got LTP Lounge coming up this week. You right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And this is a story we're going to be, I think, continuing talking about for the next couple of years, probably, because I think new things are going to develop. We don't know what they're going to do with the monorail track. There is some concept art that comes out that I've seen where they could make it like a rock mountain around it.
Not a fan.
And have the very first part of Hollywood Backlot be like a pre-show with fountains, water, benches, trees, and you go through a tunnel into this bloomin' onion thing, whatever we're going to call it, rib cage, whatever they're calling it, area. But I do think that thing is the top of a show building.
It would be really cool if you went in, like how the train goes through Tiana's.
Yeah.
Well,
and before, when you could see into it a little bit more and just splash them out, and it would be cool to have something like that.
Well,
yeah.
But going back to Mark's point about it being on top of the show building, it makes 100% sense that it will be. It'll be in the corner, and we talked about it before. It draws you. It's supposed to pull you in. Like I said, we were talking about when we were talking about it before, when we're coming over the bridge and things like that, the new walkway and everything. It's going to be like they need to finish all that up because it needs to be something that's beckoning you to come into this adventure. Right. So that is absolutely the same thing when you're inside the park walking towards it. It needs to be like, come. I mean, you know what's a great example of that is going to be is Indy. You have like this portal of like, okay, what's going on? And it's like, you have that main doorway. The first one you walk through, as you gotta, you do the zigzag through, and you go up that little walkway, but you come up to it. And it's like the doorway beckoning you into an adventure, like come into this adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the same thing here. When you look at the concept art, you can't help but honestly look at, like Mark has it up. I'm looking at it and go like,
this one?
Yeah. It's telling me, come this way.
Yeah.
There's cool stuff this way. So it makes sense that it's going to be in the corner, and it helps so many things. It helps alleviate. So the monorail. I honestly think that Disney's going to they're going to wrap the monorail, and monorail will never interact with it.
Is going to go behind it or something?
Go behind it. And to me, that makes more sense. The monorail isn't it isn't like the railroad. It isn't a show element. The monorail is cool, but it's more of a transport mechanism. Yeah. It really is.
And it's going to take you away. There's not going to really be a way to like blend it in.
Yeah. So to me, it makes infinitely more sense that they just hide the monorail behind those big spires and just make it a thing. And then on the monorail, if they want to talk about it, then, because again, the monorail experience isn't the train. So there is a very distinct difference between both of them.
Yep.
The train is much more storytelling and entertainment. The monorail is, look at this is cool, but you're transporting around. So it's just more to highlight the monorail as a cool thing than to talk about the park. So there's a big difference. So they do not need to incorporate the monorail into a show element at all.
No, because it's the only thing that really goes off stage.
Correct.
And then comes back.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the concept arts that I've seen for this has a little bit of an element of an outside where the boat is. Mm-hmm. And I'm really hoping that we get that.
Yeah.
Because I want to see an outside component of this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I could be totally wrong, but the theater that was Muppets, do you think that's going to be incorporated into this too?
Muppets was which one? Is it adjacent to Monsters, Inc., or is it?
It's, I guess, kind of adjacent, but you walk in. I'm trying to picture it. So you walk in, and it would be to the left-hand side.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good question. I don't know for that one yet. Mm-hmm. That could be. They might still have a use for that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. I just started thinking you could get something that's similar to like Flight of Passage there.
You could.
Because you have the screen.
Yep. Mm. You definitely could. I just want a little bit of an outside show element for the boat. I think that's kind of awesome.
Well, and the way that I think it was the artwork that you had sent us, and even you can see it on here, but it would be nice to have that water, just areas to sit down.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think just from my perspective, I love more water stuff.
Yeah.
It just, for some reason, it helps me
it's relaxing.
It is.
I think it's peaceful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to go too far, but that's exactly why.
Okay.
Water elements have a way of being more tranquil.
Yeah.
And if they, again, I don't know what the show is going to be. I don't know what the story is going to be at all. So it can, if they do it right, having that tranquility. I mean, Pirates works for this. You have this tranquil kind of thing, but then you come into these scenes of battle and fighting. It's kind of like the transitions in between those kind of scenes in Pirates is always crazy to me. Like, it's so good. So I'm wondering if that is what's going to happen here. I think it'd be cool.
Yep.
And I hope whoever the Imagineers working on this and the story are gonna go back to that, and hopefully look at Pirates and hopefully they've done this in the past and continue to do this. Is look back at that attraction and go like, why is this one so good and timeless? Let's find those elements that make that happen and begin to work those into these. So hopefully, I mean, they've got everything they need right there. I mean, it's like, hey, let's walk on over to Pirates and walk behind the things and all the info behind that attraction, and how do they hopefully they incorporate into that. And because as much as I'm not a fan of it being there, I really, really hope it's awesome. I really hope it's cool. I really hope
me too.
It works well, and it's one of those things like, dude, this is awesome. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong to the level of like I was wrong about them changing Tower Terror into Guardians. Yep. I was way wrong, and they proved me wrong.
Yep.
And I'm glad I'm wrong about that one, and so I'm hoping I'm wrong about this one as well.
Yeah. So Jim Shaw, who's he's a retired Imagineer, has a YouTube channel, and he talked about the Coco attraction, and he said that's going to be basically based off of what the Tangled one is.
In
Tokyo, or is it Tokyo?
I think it's Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or Disney Sea.
Disney Sea. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, just think of that.
Cool. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down with that too.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be Coco.
I remember we watched the ride through of the Tangled one and we loved it.
Yep. I think that's gonna go perfect. I mean, yeah, it's gonna go perfect over there. I'm really excited about that too.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about this on LTP Lounge. We'll delve deeper into this stuff. All right. That's gonna end the news. Now let's go to the feature presentation.
Are you listening to this episode and planning your next Disneyland getaway? Of course you are. You're a member of the LTP. Well, don't worry about your stay. We've got you covered. Check out our good friends at the Eden Rock Hotel. You can visit their website at EdenRockAnaheim.com and enter the code EdenMagic for 30% off your stay. That's EdenMagic. Now go back to planning the stuff that really matters. And yes, a churro is acceptable for breakfast.
So I came up with something on the news that the monorail is closed down right now for some refurbishment with no opening date listed on there. It got me thinking about something, and that is, and with Disneyland turning 70 years old, there are quite a few attractions that are in fact 70 years old here at Disneyland. And just for point of reference, like Matterhorn is 66 years old this year.
Okay.
Man.
At what point so what I did is I compiled a list of attractions that are older than 40 years. So 40 years older.
Okay.
At the park. And there's quite a few. My question is, if one of these goes down, how do we, let's say we're working for TDA, we got to just crunch the numbers and stuff. At what point do we say we need to replace this with something entirely different, or is this thing too iconic to keep? And believe me, there's quite a few attractions that are hard to even make that decision on. So let's start. You want to start with the oldest or the youngest?
No, we'll go with the youngest. Let's work our way back, I think.
Okay, the youngest, and this is for 40 years or older, Pinocchio's Daring Journey came out in 1983. This is not an original Fantasyland attraction. Pinocchio is 42 years old. So let's say, hey, this thing is not working the way we need to work. The mechanism is going to be it's going to be very expensive to fix this attraction. It might even be cheaper just to gut it and put something else in there. Not a gift shop or something, but some other technology that's a little easier to maintain, a little less expensive. Where does Pinocchio's Daring Journey fall on that?
I mean, this is a tough one. I would rather see it as like a facelift or whatever you would call it, like what they did with
Snow White.
With Snow White, something like that. To me, it's so classic, but I also don't know if I'm being realistic. Like my kids, that's one they don't want to watch at all. I even I'll just put on the screen. They're like, no, that's too scary for us. And I don't know if I'm being realistic. I'm trying to think if my nephews have watched it. I'm sure they've had to have.
Yeah.
But for me, it feels classic. Like, no, you can't get rid of Pinocchio.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think Pinocchio is an essential Disney character. And they need representation. In fact, you walk through Fantasyland through the castle, you hear When You Wish Upon a Star?
Yeah.
That's Pinocchio. Everything in that village reminds me of Pinocchio.
I agree. Also, it's just the story in and of itself. Even if a child, I guess, isn't necessarily watching it, it's a story that, I mean, every parent almost is like, oh, are you telling the truth? Your nose is going to grow.
I
feel like there's such big life lessons within that movie. Like, it's essential for rite of passage of even coming of age.
I agree with you because I think when you look at Pinocchio and the beauty of a lot of these stories are that deeper meaning behind it, right? So Pinocchio is definitely one of those. It's like it is the exploration of how important it is to tell the truth and how the consequences of lying can affect your life. So it is important to teach those lessons. The other part of it is it also helps underscore the value of working and not being so caught up on enjoyment and just instant gratification. When you think about it, Pleasure Island, there so many different stories and lessons learned in Pinocchio. Those are the stories that need to maintain and stay. So I would say that you look at the cost of it and you go like, well, it's going to cost X amount of dollars. It may actually be cheaper to just, take it all out and put something else in. But if they're going to go that route, then they need to replace it with something that's going to be the same.
Right.
Because the beauty of that story, again, is it's a timeless story. So if they're going to, this is where the argument would be. Is like, well, okay, it isn't as popular. People aren't going as much. So what do? Do we spend the money to refurb it and bring it back up, and then more people want to come to it, and we continue to tell the story and live in and continue Walt's legacy, or do we gut it and then put something else in and then try to continue on forward? To me, I'm always going to fall back and go, look, the element of the story is the important part of the whole thing. So let's update like we did. I think Snow White is going to be the perfect blueprint for a lot of these. I feel it. Yeah. Because it's going to be the things like, let's update it. And Snow White, now you go to it, it's busy. Because it does help. So to me, it would be worth them or us in this scenario to spend the money, upgrade it, find the places where we can make it better. And then people will then come and then continue to tell the story. So I would definitely fall on that end of it. Like, no, we need to refurb it, update the tech, tell the story, and then help give it another 30, 40 years.
Yeah, that wording too of tell the story. I think that while we are always wanting something new, and while there is value in bringing in new, there are some stories that just have to continue to be told, and I think that is one of them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I really do.
Yep, I agree. All right, so it's a refurb and keep Pinocchio. All right, that's 42 years old. The next oldest comes at 46 years old. This one should be a no-brainer of what we're going to do with it. The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. If this needs a major refurb, do we keep this one or we got it?
Refurb it.
You've got to refurb this thing.
Yeah.
This one is going to be the one that will be another 40, 50 years down the road and be like, yeah, go ride it. Get on it.
You think you can get another 50 years out of this ride?
Yeah.
100%. I think so.
Okay.
I think that while like maybe the Westerns and stuff aren't what they used to be necessarily for people, but I think that there is always an element that's there.
Yep, absolutely.
No matter what.
Yep, so I would say green light it. No matter what, how much money we got to get this thing, keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Next one, 48 years old. Again, this should not be, well, this one might be interesting. Space Mountain.
Yeah, get rid of it. No, I'm totally kidding.
If they redo Tomorrowland, a new version?
Well, what would the only way that I would be fine with that is, what is the new version? What does it all entail? Is it going to be an expansion? Is it going to be more tech into it? To be honest, okay, when you strip everything away from Space Mountain, it is just an indoor roller coaster.
Yeah.
What makes it different is the thematics behind it.
Sure.
So to me, again, this is going to be those ones like, no, you just maintain this, refurb that. If anything, just make sure your tech is up to date. Your lighting packages, your music packages, you keep all that up to date. Maybe add more elements. Like if you're going to do, because they do that. They do hyperspace. They do a few different versions of that, right? But all it ever does is it's the thematic change of it. So to me, I'd be like, nope, let's update themes. Let's update lighting. Let's update tech. Let's get more efficient with that. But the core of that attraction is the roller coaster, and it is a fun roller coaster. Any way you cut that roller coaster, it is a great roller coaster. If you eliminate the lights, it takes away the mystery of it. Or I'm sorry, if you add lighting to it, it takes away the mystery of it, but it doesn't take away it's just a fun roller coaster.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I'll say that the lighting really does change it, or when they do the different themes, because the Halloween one, I feel like I'm gonna puke. I forget what it's called.
Ghost Galaxy.
Ghost Galaxy. I feel like I'm gonna get sick on that one. It makes me dizzy. It's crazy. But regularly, no, don't have that problem. So it really does change it. I have a question though. What if they said, you know what, this is the only way to bring something Tron? Like they're gonna do some big. Okay, no.
No.
Not only no, a hard no.
No, if I had a vote, I would not say that. I would say we're not taking Tron. We're not going to lose this for that.
Because let's be real, the iconography behind Space Mountain kicks the crap out of Tron. As much as I love Tron, but I can also be real. If you go, hey, Space Mountain, yeah, Tron, people may go like, what?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no way. You do not sacrifice anything from the past that's iconic as that for a franchise that I love. That is not nearly that level.
Plus, you said iconography. That to me is part of the
skyline.
The skyline. Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, with like the space element, it seems like there's always going to be something to learn. Or see. So it's always part of tomorrow.
Correct. So even if, like, I've been yelling for how long about, like, hey, let's create a new IP, going to Mars. These are all things that are in fact in our future. They're actively working on it now. Like, hey, how do we go? That madman, whether you like him or not, Elon Musk is actively trying to figure out ways like, hey, how can we make this more feasible for humanity to go into the stars? Like the stuff that the sci-fi and the future has always been about is like humanity going to the stars. You think about any huge franchise, sci-fi wise, it's going to be an element of that. You could incorporate that with the lighting package, with the theme package in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could do a Mars takeoff. You could be like Mission to Mars. We're going to Mars. I mean, you think about this stuff.
Sure.
So whatever they do to the rest of Tomorrowland, it would be an easy thing, and I air quote easy, to put that into space and make it relevant. So the beauty of when they designed that is they made it so easily malleable that you could keep that going for on and on and on and on without doing much of nothing.
Right.
Yeah, it was beautiful design and idea. Whoever came up with that, I don't even know.
John Hench?
Was it? I don't know.
Oh, for Space Mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a spaceport idea like in the 60s.
Yeah. But yeah, whoever came up with the actual, like, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to light it, this is what we're going to do, and then the ability to make it so adaptable is...
Well, ours is scaled down because the original version is in Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. So they have the original Space Mountain. It has dual tracks.
Yeah.
So I think about, I mean, we did that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But their cars are configured like the old Matterhorn bobsleds, where you sit single file.
Yeah, more of a rocket.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's beyond the scope of the conversation. So the thing is, I say you put whatever money you have to keep Space Mountain going.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Next one up, 56 years old, is the Haunted Mansion. There's no question about this.
I'm not even
No question.
So this is an easy one. You do whatever, you get a loan from whatever bank you need to.
Yeah, the only thing that I will always say is update the tech. Just keep it going. Make it more hyper realistic. Make it more interactive if you can. You look at Haunted currently.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you write it, if you write it in the mind of how can they update this tech to make it even more realistic, I would invite, because last time I wrote that was in my head. Well, amongst many other things, but certain elements, I'm like, man, if they put a screen here or they change that here a little bit, man, how would that intensify the realism behind it? And you think about that. For any of you guys, Becky, when you go, and if you go ride it, I don't know if you have to ride that. Clearly, you got to ride it without.
She does.
You got to ride it without your girls, I'm assuming.
No.
They...
Are they fine with it?
Well, I guess nobody judged me as a parent, but no, they like it.
Okay, no, that's fine, because, like, I can only go back into my history and why, as a kid, I was like, no, we don't go in there. I will do better. Yeah, so, no, but all I'm saying is when you ride it, do that for a second. Like, whatever element that you come into, whatever room you come into, go like, man, so the elements that are happening is like, would this be cool if they maybe change that to the screen, maybe change the lighting here, that kind of thing. And not to change the story or anything else, but to heighten the the story with tech behind it. So this is the kind of things like if we need to do a refurbishment of an attraction, let's take the time to update everything and make it even better. So without altering the story, don't need to change track, none of that, blah, 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 all that. Literally like, hey, if we add the light, the screen here, how would that enhance the whole thing? So that's what with Haunted, it is one of those attractions that is great, just great.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't need much.
All right. Next one up, another classic, 58 years old. Here we go. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Boom.
No, like there is no way they could take out Pirates.
Nope.
No.
I think any of us, we would head down there immediately and like tie ourselves to a boat or whatever we have to.
Yeah, I will say there's only one thing they can do to make that to
what's that?
Make that better. Bring back the real redhead.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And one other thing. Can we go back to
the guys chasing the women?
Yeah, can we go back to that? Like the women chasing the men. Sorry, it is just not realistic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just to have one is fine because that's kind of funny when the bigger chick is the larger woman is chasing the smaller guy. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's funny.
But then the other part, I'm like, no. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, yeah.
No, I'd say we put whatever money we have to put into that to 100%. Keep it going.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There's not even a question about that.
Like I said, same thing that I thought is like just update the tech, the lighting packages, anything like that. Just keep that going and making it more efficient, better, brighter, that kind of whatever it need to do, darker, whatever it is. Yeah.
All right. Next up is it's a Small World. 59 years old.
Burn it to the ground.
I was just gonna say we haven't had one where we've disagreed
Burn
on
it
it. This might be it.
No, this is
To me, no.
No, leave the facade up, but then just gut the entirety of it and just make it.
You would say
make that Avatar Land. No, I'm kidding.
You would say that if there was some big issue with the boats and stuff like that, or the infrastructure, you would say gut it.
No. In all reality, everyone knows I make no bones about it. I do not like that ride. I do not like the song.
Nope.
It bores into your brain. It's an earworm. That's why I don't like it. But that being said, it is also one of those things that is too iconic, and really the
historic.
Correct, that as well. And the theme behind that is what is golden, and you cannot remove it. We actually need more of that right now. The theme behind It's a Small World is to highlight that no matter how you look, where you come from, what language you speak, we're still closer together. So I will never, ever, ever diminish the fact that on that level, It's a Small World is probably the epitome of Walt and him trying to show that we are all one people.
Yeah.
It's basically what we talked about at the beginning of the show, what we were saying we're thankful for of
the
show. Yeah, I think just the connection. Yep. And I do think that they've done a good job throughout the years of weaving different things into it. I don't know how I'll feel about the song updating a little bit or adding the extra chorus. I'll let you know once I hear it.
Yeah.
But I do think that they have done a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, and again, they added Coco, Coco element into it, and that's good. I have no problem, and actually, it's actually probably a pretty good idea to interweave the good storytelling parts of the Disney Corp into that because it helps add some more connective tissue to good storytelling and good themes and good messaging.
Yep. So keep it. Okay, next one. 62 years old, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room.
Yep. No, can't do it. Same thing. Honestly, I'm going to go different with that. Don't update a thing tech-wise. Legit. Just keep them maintained.
Yeah.
Because there is a beauty to that attraction with it being so old and kitschy.
Yeah.
That you have to connect with that. Like, there is something about that place. Like I said, I go back to my mom loves it, you know.
It's the same with Pirates for me. It is kind of kitschy.
It's kind of kitschy, but if you have that connectivity and you don't need to mess with that. There are certain things that you don't need to touch. Just make sure it's maintained. So if there's a massive thing like, well, we need to refurbish, like, let's say the pedestal coming down, like the mechanism isn't working, so the pedestal can't come down, or it can't go back up, blah, blah. Well, fix the mechanism. Yeah, I'm sure that, honestly, to be fair, when you think about all the animatronics that are in there, that's probably a lot of work in there.
Well, and it's down right now. It's been down for a while.
Yeah, they're probably going back and have to redo all the servos and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's probably a lot when you really think about it.
Right.
Because how many times have you been in there and looked over one of the totems, the eyes isn't moving or something? It happens.
I think that's kind of funny, though.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But like I said, it adds to that element of it because you realize...
The eyes looking the other way.
Yeah. See, but that's what...
But it is just so classic.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, part of history. Like, look at where things started and where they are now.
Yeah.
And I love that one.
Okay, so we are going to put whatever money we have to. Okay.
Yeah.
That was 62 years old. The next batch comes at 66 years old, and this is what spurred the whole conversation. So, Matterhorn bobsleds. It becomes too costly to fix this thing. What do you do with this? To me, this is the most iconic out of any of the attractions we have listed so far. As far as the skyline goes.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I say you do whatever you have to do to keep this thing going. Even if it means you take it offline for 6 months and invest whatever money to get this thing going.
Not to mention you have Tinkerbell or Dumbo or so many things who can fly from there during, fireworks.
Right.
And the only thing I could see, and I'm not saying I want this, is if they somehow incorporated it into Frozen. Like down the road, I'm not saying I want it, but I could kind of see that.
Yep, the theming is there for that, but it's...
No.
But in general, it cannot go.
No.
It can't. I feel like everybody, well, now it's a little bit harder to see, but like as a kid, that was something we always played. Like who could see the Matterhorn first?
Yeah, still do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whenever you drive down there, 100%. I always think like now that we're talking about this, it really makes me feel like these are the things that you cannot remove.
Right.
At all. And because these are the core things that have brought Disneyland to where it is. I mean, the Matterhorn.
None of them are really even, aside from like Pinocchio, is even tied to a movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're saying invest whatever we need to.
Yeah, because these are the things that make the park.
Yep.
They're not like, well, we can no. This makes the park.
Yeah.
So these are huge things. I mean, Pinocchio is probably the least of them.
Right.
But even that one kind of like, but again, space, Matterhorn. Yeah, no, these make the park.
Okay.
Thunder. They're all, the big mountains.
The mountains.
All right, well, I guess I wouldn't have thought one mountain would be gone, but it is.
Yeah, well, you think about it, how many times have you seen a sticker or a shirt or something that says the mountains are calling?
Yeah.
And it just goes. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the shadow outline of the mountain. We're like, oh, yeah, space, thunder, Matterhorn. We know it right away. Yeah.
All right, we keep a Matterhorn. Right, that's the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Open the same day, these next two, Submarine Voyage. That one actually has been on the chopping block.
A few times.
Yep. But yet here it is remaining. And this one might be one that you could make a strong case for if it just becomes too expensive to maintain the subs and the track and everything. This would be a Sophie's choice for me. It would have to be like, how much is it going to cost, and what else are we going to put in here, if anything?
Yeah, the hard part about Submarine, and I said it often, like, we cannot get rid of that. You cannot get rid of it. You cannot get rid of it. And I really am still in that mindset. You cannot get rid of it.
No.
Historically, for one. But you also have to be realistic about that. That one is the one that is difficult because of, and this is where I lay the issue at Disney's feet, is like, because you guys haven't done enough to keep that relevant. You haven't. And if also
like, do you mean Finding Nemo in general.
Like Finding Nemo was them trying to maintain some relevancy, but it didn't need it. That was a lazy attempt in my mind. Like I didn't have really that much of a problem with it, but it was more like this was lazy. That is the problem with it. Like Tomorrowland, like most of Tomorrowland, they have done a poor job at keeping it relatable. So to me, I'm like either you do, and I said it before, you do a massive thing where you change everything and you make it more an adventure. I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago now, that you need to make it more of a real adventure, and then it'll become more relevant again. It'll be one of those things, but I'm with Mark. At this point, sadly, it's like, oh gosh, like, how much is it going to be? Like, literally, I'd have to look at the dollar amount and go like, wow.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
But it does just bring a lot of energy
kinetic
to that
energy.
area. I feel like, it does.
Yeah.
So it's hard to imagine it being gone.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I mean, it's not one I enjoy necessarily, like to actually go on.
Right. Yep.
And going back to the water element, grabbing this is what I'm saying. Like, I get frustrated because this is one of the ones that it shouldn't be on the chopping block. It should be so iconic where it isn't even a question.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and I do remember the years when it wasn't anything. Like, I remember going and seeing, like, the Atlantis sign, like, they were going to make it Atlantis or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, and with nothing going on in that area, it just doesn't.
It feels empty, right? Like it feels like
empty
weird
and, like,
odd.
Yeah, like a ghost town almost. Just that one little part.
Yeah.
Okay, last one for the 65-year-old one is the Disneyland monorail.
Oh no!
You got to keep that thing going. Yeah. So that's an easy one. Okay. 67 years old. There's only one. Alice in Wonderland. This thing
to me, it has to stay.
It has to stay?
Yeah, I love Alice in Wonderland. That would be one, if I heard it was going away, I would plan a special trip, even if I had to just go by myself without kids, family. I love that one.
You know,
this Our first disagreement.
Yeah, no, this one I would say let's find something better.
Really?
Okay.
Well, maybe not better. Better isn't the right word.
More modern.
More modern. A little bit bring in. I think that one is the opportunity to introduce some of the newer stories into the park and into Fantasyland. As much as I appreciate Alice in Wonderland, and I appreciate, honestly, the attraction, I haven't been on it in forever.
It is the most unique out of the dark rides.
It is pretty interesting when you do ride it. Like, you can come off of that going, what did I just go through? Which, there's something to be said for that, you know what I mean? But then there's that...
Jerome would be upset with you.
Well, I get that. But the point is like, there isn't enough, I think, going deep into it, and I know people will probably disagree with me, and that's fine. There isn't enough deep meaning into that as it is as other ones. So when you talk about Alice, it's more of a weird adventure, you know.
Yeah.
And the theming behind it and the story arcs behind it aren't as, I think, as deep, at least for me. And I'm sure there's some people out there that would absolutely, Becky, you might be one, where they connect onto it in a deep level, and whatever the story is for them, it speaks to them on a deep level. That's fine, but to me, I'm like, it doesn't do that for me. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe this one we can shuffle off and find something more.
And technically, Alice is represented because you do have the teacups as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what it is for me, because actually what's unique about that one is I do love the story of Alice in Wonderland, but the actual Disney animated, I don't. It's a little bit weird for me, but just the story of Alice I like.
Okay.
Like, there are plenty of other versions that are not Disney necessarily, and I enjoy that story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the whimsical world, and you know.
So yeah, this one would be a tough one. This with the Submarine Voyage is I have the same feeling about this one. But Yeah, I'd probably want to put the money into this one to keep it going because it's part of to me, it's part of the landscape in Fantasyland. And at night, this is a really cool attraction to be on.
Yeah, no, at night there is an element to that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There is. I guess there's one thing that if we went back to our conversation with Terrence, when he said he would get rid of Pooh.
Yeah.
If it was like they were getting rid of Pooh and the only option was to put it there, that I would be okay with that. I'd still be sad.
Yeah.
But I feel like Pooh needs to be somewhere.
Winnie the Pooh needs representation. And
yeah.
And that's for sure. All right, the next one is 69 years old, and this one I can't imagine why it would be even that expensive to maintain, but it is the Davy Crockett Explorer canoes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Old Town, we need like 12 more boats. Cool, thank you.
Yeah, cool, thank you.
Yeah. Don't want some paddles? Awesome. So you keep this thing going. For sure. The last one, let's wrap this one up here. All the remaining 70-year-old ones coming up. And these are ones that, hey, it's going to cost a ton of money to keep them going, and I think they're all going to be yes to keep them going. Let's go through it real quick. Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
You, no matter what it is, open the bank, open the paycheck or the checkbook.
Yep.
Going. Okay. Disneyland Railroad, no questions asked.
Get rid of it. No, I'm kidding. 100% kidding.
That, if for some reason they had to sell everything off, this would be the railroad would be the last thing standing. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
If it was just empty in the park and this should be the last attraction. King Arthur's Carousel.
I think you have to keep it. Okay, can I give my argument?
Yeah, go for it.
No, yeah, sure, go ahead.
My reasoning is because you walk into Fantasyland, it does bring a kinetic energy as well going around. You have the music playing that's very classic. You can mix in adding one of my favorites, Mary Poppins, onto there. Her and Bert will go ride it and bring the band with them sometimes, or like a few people. And I just think that it is like, it's just a classic, element to have there. That's my reasoning. And like seeing it behind the sword.
Yep.
And people grabbing it. Mine is more about the energy than the actual, like, what it is.
Sure. And you can see it, you can actually see it from the hub. Yeah, if you look through the castle. Yeah, of course.
You can, yeah.
No, this is essential. Every theme park needs a carousel, so this is a no-brainer as well. You keep the
What
same.
about for you, Udi?
Yeah, no, I mean the only reason why I like took a deep breath about it and thought about it for a moment was because of like at the core of it, it's a carousel. But what you brought up is the reason why it needs to stay. The kinetic energy behind it, the theming behind it, the whole thing, it fits so well into the area. If you pulled that, what would you put in there? There isn't anything else to do in that area.
Starbucks.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be a big hole in the ground or an open area, which would be boring and then it would take away from the whole mystique of the area.
Yeah.
So because of that, it needs to stay.
Yep,
Like,
it does, of course.
But in talking about the horses and everything, like all that, like if you really dig into the history of that carousel, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it's got to stay.
Yep. Autopia. This kind of costs so much money to maintain this thing, to build it. This one could be on the chopping block.
Bye-bye.
I wouldn't. I mean, I've always been a proponent of keeping this guy, but I would understand why they would get rid of this version.
Yeah, and there is space back there that they especially if we're talking they're going to do a Tomorrowland, like good refurb.
Yeah.
Kind of like getting back into that area.
Yep.
There is some space.
Yep. I could see this one being, I would highly consider this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would be like, sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, no, I can't.
Next one is Mad Tea Party. This is going to cost millions and millions of dollars to keep those discs spinning.
Do it.
Maintain it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to.
Especially like the lighting at night.
Yeah, no, it adds an element to that area that cannot be, I can't think of, I mean, Well, true, we're going to be very, very biased because we've had that for the entirety of every trip.
70 years, yeah.
But looking at the deeper part of it, has a kinetic effect to it. It is just fun. You cannot help, but every time you walk by there, you hear people yelling, laughing, just screaming because it's so crazy. So, and it adds to the whole thing of like, it adds to the whole
madness
party.
Yes.
And it just fits so well. So, yeah.
And, you know, I know that this wouldn't be a memory for everybody, but it's like now I'm starting to have memories with my kids. And the last time we went, we all rode a teacup together, which Tim's legs were like way up here, stuck on it. And he was spinning us. And I, as long as I live, will never forget my 2-year-old just laughing and spinning. And I felt like I was going to get sick and honestly kind of miserable with the lights and everything. I will like never forget that.
That's awesome.
It just, was like one of those life moments I feel like on my last day I would look back and think about.
Yeah.
Not to get all deep, but
yeah. All right. Ooh, so we're keeping it. Next one is an absolute no-brainer. It's the Mark Twain Riverboat. You keep that thing up and running.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about Florida.
No, we're not. So that's an easy one. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's going to cost millions of dollars, millions upon millions of dollars to get this thing going. I am saying, well, what else can we put here? Will it cost less to install a new show?
Share a building with Alice?
It does.
Yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing.
You going to keep it?
No. I already said Alice. We could.
Oh, okay.
Like you get rid of both of them and make one big one.
I'd be down with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's tough though, but I will tell you because again, going back to the story behind Mr. Toad, it's a good story, and that would be my only concern is like, okay, if we're gonna go ahead and take both of them out, whatever we replace it with needs to be something at that level of storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what would replace it.
And there is the catch-22 because nothing is coming to my mind directly going, oh yeah, let's put that in.
Robin Hood?
Again, but that goes really old.
Yeah.
Really, I'm trying to say if we're going to do that, we're not going to go back 60 years
Tangled?
in our catalog. Tangled would be better, but not,
Brave?
But not, see, Tangled and Brave are both really good.
Yeah.
You guys know I love Tangled. I just watched it again last week. Eugene's the best. Anyway, but the story behind it, behind that, the Rapunzel story, isn't as deep as Mr. Toad's. Now, if they said, "Hey, we're going to pull Alice for Tangled," like done, I'm actually good with that. I just don't know if you're going to get both of them and make it one. Then that is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because Mr. Toad's feels too short for Tangled to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm maybe just picturing the way the ride through goes.
Yeah.
It doesn't work because in my mind, because you also have to Tangled is going to have a tower.
Yeah.
Or it needs to have that tower element.
Yeah, that is why I'm saying if you're going to put that, you'd have to put that into Alice. And maybe you could work that in with an exterior element, yada yada, all that kind of thing. But, if you're gonna do that, then but I don't know. I can't think of anything.
No.
And nothing newer works. Correct. Moana doesn't work there.
No.
And honestly, I think Moana's underrepresented in the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. And there it is. What would you put that would fit? Not only that, but fit thematically into Fantasyland,
right?
Because I don't want to hear Frozen.
Okay, so the gist is Mr. Toad's is up for debate.
Correct.
Okay. Next one is not and can't touch it is Peter Pan's Flight.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. No.
Ooh.
I'm coming after you. No, you can't touch it
unless you knock out Toads and make it longer. There.
I'd be fine with that.
Oh yeah, but Peter Pan is way too classic.
Yeah.
The same thing, going back to the story.
Yeah.
To me, it is such a story that is essential Disney.
Away we go.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't.
Yep.
Yep. You put whatever money you need to get
It's the longest line in Fantasyland.
Yep.
That is
People love
for
it.
a reason.
For sure.
Yep.
All right, last three here. Storybook Land Canal Boats. I think we already know what the story
we
is.
do. And I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
You keep that thing going. Casey Jr. Circus Train.
You can't, again.
These two are symbiotic, right? No, symbiotic.
No.
I think I
Symbiotic is
know
right
the last one.
Well, let me say this. The fact that we're all sitting here going, well, you can't get rid of that, you can't get rid of that, you can't get rid of that. I just need to say that it points to the brilliance of the design from the beginning.
Yeah.
I know, and that we aren't even disagreeing. And
But
I hope it's fun for people listening because we're not even disagreeing on it.
Well, no, but we don't need to disagree on it to make it entertaining. The point is though is like we can point out these things and go like, hey, like when's the last time I was on Alice? Like I mean, and so a lot of these attractions, like especially Fantasyland, I'm like the carousel. I cannot tell you the last time I was on the carousel.
No, I can't.
It has been decades at this point that I've been on it. But I'm still the mind going, no, it needs to stay. Casey Jr., again, same thing that falls into it. When was the last time I've been on it? Decades. Last time I went on Storybook was with Mark. How many years has that been? These are the things. It's like, these are attractions that we, as us personally, hardly ever go on, but we're all like, nah, but you can't get rid of that.
No. Well, I just want to make sure we're not like emotionally tied to these things.
Oh, no.
Well, it just
you are though. We are though.
Yeah,
but that's
we
okay.
are, but like the Casey Jr., I did just go on, but I hadn't been on that since I was like 12 years old, or maybe even younger, 10. And there is just something about being in Fantasyland and you're hearing it go by or catching a glimpse of it that brings so much to the park.
Right.
And to that area.
Yep. So the one part of it that we cannot forget, and anybody needs to remember, is that even though we don't like Fantasyland really in particular, it is mostly not meant, designed, or catering to us.
No.
In any way, shape, or form. It is infinitely designed for the kids. That is perfect because this is the point in time where they're exploring, they're using and figuring out how to use their imagination to believe in things that are bigger. So these are all elements. Every one of those stories in there, even the carousel, King Arthur, I mean, all this stuff, it is a bigger picture and imagination behind it. So this is why, we're going to be emotionally attached to that, but that's okay because we also have to realize that the people behind us, the kids behind us are all going to wind up learning and creating this emotional tie to it, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
So when you break everything down to dollars and cents, it's not always about that. And Disney's, this is why we have such a wrestle with this sometimes, because our emotional connection to the park will often and supersede any financial idea. Like, well, monetarily, we got to figure out how to do that. I get that, but no. So being emotionally tied to this thing is actually a good thing in my mind.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit more difficult, clearly, but because we're going deeper than just money.
Right.
So this is what all this is an exercise to me. Is like, well, how much is money important to you?
Sure.
Yeah.
The last one is Dumbo the Flying Elephant. So
again,
you
can't get rid of them.
Okay.
Because again, the park is built, especially like I said, especially in Fantasyland.
Yeah.
The park was built around that, and is the growth because of those areas. And the park is what it is, and the company, you can argue, is because of areas like that.
Yeah.
You cannot understate that.
Yeah, and there's something so magical about it. I've done Dumbo at Magic Kingdom too, and they have like 2 Dumbos essentially, because it's bigger, and ours is so much more magical than even theirs is.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's like you can't even recreate it.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those rides that when my sister went, the same day that Rise opened, her and I and Annika were riding at Dumbo at night, and that was the first time I'd been on that in probably at that point 10 years or so. But my sister had been since '85. She was like laughing the whole time. She said, "This is like the funnest thing." I go, Carolyn, we're just going around in circles. I know, but look how pretty it is. I go, yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Anyways, I think about that too. Okay, well, I thought that'd be an interesting topic to see what these rides are worth. Fun. Oh, good. Those listening at home or in the car, maybe chime in and see what you would think. Maybe if we're wrong, say, no, we actually want to get rid of Jungle Cruise. I wouldn't have put any money into that. Let us know why, and we'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap up episode number 224. Thank you for hanging out with us on this journey, this magical journey, I might add. Mm-hmm. To find out more about the show, do follow us on Instagram at Leaving Today Podcast. Also, send us an email at info@leavingtodaypodcast.com. Again, we have some shirts and ways to help support the show with Patreon on our website at leavingtodaypodcast.com. As a reminder, every other Thursday, we have LTP Lounge to go a little bit deeper. It's an hour show. And it's a fun way to connect with us, and we can talk about things and go a little deeper. Yeah, that's that. All right. Udi, where can people find out more information about you?
You can find me on my other podcast, The Mando Show. We're trying to schedule our next recording session. Even though 3 out of the 4 of us were at the beer garden last night. But you can find me there. You can also find me on my main social page, which would be Instagram, which is Haxgolie, Haxgolie, Haxgolie. I am on Twitter, but I don't really check it that much. But yeah, if you want to DM me on Twitter, or X, on Twixter, you can go ahead and do that there. Same handle, Haxgolie.
All right. Becky, where can people find out more information about you?
You can find me on Instagram at Becky_Weimer, BECKY_WEIMER.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. Again, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you in 2 weeks, episode 225. Until then, we love you, adventures out there, and we'll see you in the parks.
Bye.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Disneyland is now in its normal operating day. We hope you enjoyed your visit to the Magic Kingdom and that the memories you made will bring you back again soon.
I am a good button pusher.
It's okay. I can make it work.
You broke it.
Yeah.
I didn't say smell it.
Well, that's what I thought. I'm like, hey, anytime I see him, I'm like, why do you want me to smell this?
No, I want you to look at it.
Remain seated, please. Permanense status, por favor.
I've got tacos waiting for me.
Oh, man. Where's my invite? No bed sheets.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because I like yelling at you.
Wait, how do I get you bigger?
You broke it.
Yeah.
Snack break.
Kitty.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Boy, was my face red. Well, I didn't see that coming.